Yo, what's good? Let me get the get the vibe right. You did. Let me get the vibe right. Hold on, that ain't it. Alright, try it again. Alright. This might work a tad bit better. A little bit too bright. Yo, what's good, people? What's good? Yeah, man, I'm really just cooking some beats. So feel free to vibe with your boy, man. I hope everybody's having a good day, doing what you need to do. I said this on my other live, but I really like flipping like video game songs into beats. So, actually, let me go back to my history. Where's the joint I played? So this was the original. Hold on, let me pin this right quick. Yeah, so this was the original joint I sampled, and then I'm gonna show you how I flipped it. So it's real, like, you be like, that man said Halo 4. I'm crying. I do that, bro, for sure. I do that. I'll probably do it on another live. So that was the original joint, and then this is how I flipped it. So, I've been having I was having a conversation with some people, man, about not just only like a personal accountability, but we're also talking about, just what social media does to people. Like, it's interesting seeing how people act, like, behind the screen versus how they act in person. Like, that shit is fucking wild to me. Like, how people act, it's just weird, like, and people have started to miscount social cues. Like, they've pretty much started to, like, they stopped learning social cues because of what goes on this damn screen. Like, I've watched people just have little to no social etiquette. Like, just because of spending too much time behind, peace, Nicole, peace. I've seen people just act a certain type of way behind the screen and then, like, be totally different in person and lack social etiquette and lack knowing how to talk to people, social cues, things of that nature. And that's really, like, that was one of the goals of social media, but now it's just really, like, it's hit the next level. Like, where is the human interaction? You know what I mean? Like, where is just having a conversation with somebody? Where is just, being, just talking to people, right? Not expecting a result, not, like, looking for validation or looking for followers or, any of that. Like, why we can't just build one another? Why does it always have to be a result? And I get being purposeful in our conversation. That's cool, but that should shine in your character. You know what I mean? But It's wild seeing how people act now with these devices versus when we didn't have them. Because back in the days, peace, y'all, peace. Back in the days, we didn't have to, we knew how to actually talk to people and have a conversation. Like it's just interesting to see how people act now with social media being so prevalent. This is real interesting. And I was having some thoughts today during like meditation, just about, and I actually just posted it on my page. Like, we worry about beings that are governed by universal law instead of focusing on universal law. So, of course, with the government talking about so-called aliens and things of that nature. And, those who are into know that there are other beings in this plane that we can't necessarily see with our physical eyes, right? A thought is a being, you know what I mean? I'm watching platforms, or I've seen platforms focus on these beings rather than the laws that govern the beings, which is the same laws that govern this reality along with certain forces in nature. You know what I mean? I am a big advocate for the Hermetic principles, simply because no matter where you go, what you do, these principles are in effect. Even when you begin to talk about these beings, right, which are what people like to say higher vibrational, right? That's the law of vibration. That's the principle of vibration. Everything moves, everything vibrates, nothing is at rest. What you think is moving, what you think is physical matter is really just a vibration moving slowly. You know what I mean? So even when it comes to like these other beings, they're just vibrating at a higher level, right? And you need to have a proper mind state to even see them. And that is, again, the law of mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental. The what we call the infinite intelligence and give it many deity names and all of that, that's simply just us trying to give a title to an infinite being, and that's impossible. Like, our human minds cannot quantify the infinite intelligence, so why give it a title? And two, it's really like that that force that exists beyond, that we are also a part of, it created these laws, and it is law because it is above the law. These laws govern any and everything you could possibly think of in your mind, at least. So why deify it? Why give it all these titles and all these names and confuse yourself, right? Your foundation should be that force exists within you. I know that certain people like to pray, right? And different strokes for different folks. The word pray literally means to beg. So take that how you want it, but to my understanding, that's what that word means. And my question to you would be, right, who is pursuing, I wouldn't even say who's pursuing, like, who or what is being animated for that thing to happen for you, right? In other words, in order for the miracle to happen, right, the miracle that you're so-called praying for, right, in order for that miracle to happen, you have to take some sort of action, right? So we know that what people call God, I don't really call it, everything is you, right? But what other people call God, right, that exists throughout your environment, right? It's in this live, it's in the pictures that's behind me and all of that. It's in the comment, you know what I mean? It's all of that. So if you know that this force works through the environment, right, through you, right, because, again, you are everything is you. Our mind likes to get caught in this paradox. And I'm just here to tell you, ignoring either side of the pole makes you look foolish. So while the body is temporary, you cannot ignore the body because you manifested in it. You know what I mean? So while the force the force works through you, so in other words, you have to be active in what you are trying to manifest, in what you are so-called praying for, right? If you're not, like they say in that basic instructions before leaving Earth, aka the Bible, which again is another people trying to quantify intelligence that they don't understand, whatever. Faith without works is dead, right? So you have to actively pursue the things that you want in order to get it. Period. It's the difference between knowing something and then applying that knowledge, right? The laws that govern everything, right? They're meant for you to apply them, not to just talk about them or think about them or deify a name that you want to give to the infinite intelligence. Which true understanding, true overstanding requires no words, right? You just know, be still and know, right? So at the end of the day, all the names that you try to give various energies on the planet have no type of, what are they going, you know what I mean? At the end of it all, they're still governed by the same laws that you are, which is mentalism, vibration, polarity, rhythm, gender, cause and effect, and what's the other one? Vibration. So I got too many hands up, but yeah, these 7 laws and the reason that there's 7, right? We call 7 the God number, right? 7 is a very special number. So again, we need to focus on these things rather than more deities and more aliens and Palladians and we're confusing ourselves. We're getting lost in translation, right? And again, I'm currently speaking English, so there's only so much I can say in English. There's only so much you can say in language. And I'm not saying that the English translation of things is the end all be all, but I don't know, man. I think we should definitely think about, laws that govern instead of giving a name to something that we can't eat, which is beyond true naming, but that was on my mind today, man. So I'm gonna keep on cooking up, and if you guys are enjoying it, hit some likes, share the video, and we're gonna keep it pushing. So even with as time begins to progress, you're definitely gonna see the media place blame on so-called outside entities when karma is delivered in many forms to whomever is ready to receive that or who has to receive that karma, right? So they can say, oh, alien invasion and all of these things, but really it's what you would call Mother Nature delivering karma to a people who have cried, conquered, and copied. Shout out to my homegirl Raquel for that one. She said I'm not gonna specify all Caucasians, but the people who have that white supremacist mentality, the so-called white supremacist mentality, all they do is cry, copy, and conquer. So the people who do that, they're gonna be delivered karma. and they're going to try to place the blame on other beings when it's simply, again, that law of karma, cause and effect. Every effect has a cause, every cause has an effect. Because you want to steal, things will be taken from you. Because you want to be violent, violence will be delivered upon you. Because you want to destroy nature, nature will destroy you. And destruction is necessary for creation. So those who are buying into that system, they're going to feel the effects of it. You know, those who continue to buy into the stock market, to, you know, leverage the system for their growth rather than focusing on like principles like taking care of people that take care of you, right? Having a quality product, right? Communication, except like those little things, you know, the intangibles of business, right? Not just, oh, you need to make sure to know how to market and watch the stock market and all of that stuff is secondary to knowing how to actually treat people and having a quality product and service that actually helps someone. You know, that's secondary. That's primary. Then you get to the business and paperwork and all of that shit. You know, so those who have like basically tried to manipulate the system and have invested heavily in a system that is essentially fraudulent. It's not real. Like the debt that they create isn't real. The money that they have isn't real. The so-called laws, right? Lowercase L is different. Excuse me. Lowercase L is bigger than uppercase L. Lowercase L is different than uppercase L. So law, universal law, are different than the laws that they present in government or so-called government, right? Those are acts and codes, right? Acts and codes are usually present within a corporation or like a job, you know what I mean? So them, and I don't want to get too off tangent, but you know, their system was never real, and it just takes a realization of that, one, and then knowing what to do once you are aware of this. And you know, this is where in the world takes into account. So personally, I would much prefer people leave the system, and I will always advocate towards that. I've been fucked the system for a very long time. But if you are if you are in your own different predicaments, there are some things that you can still do. So yeah, man, just, you know, realize that karma's being delivered. Don't let them fool you with some alien bullshit or, again, placing blame outside of themselves. Because people do that all the time, don't they? You know, they be like, oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's such and such fault. Oh, it's the Caucasian fault. Oh, it's the black man fault. Black man. Oh, it's the melanated people fault. Oh, it's their fault. No, motherfucker. You the one who allowed that shit in your space, and you're the one who has the responsibility to fix it. Yes, the circumstance might have been difficult, but if you are aware of that and aren't doing anything to fix it, motherfucker, it's your fault. Period. You know, so, you know, accountability needs to happen at some point. And in order for people to be held accountable for relying on a system that never had their best interest to begin with, or for, you know, conquering and pillaging and all that shit, in order for them people to be held accountable, the shit has to fall. And it sucks that has to happen because, you know, we're seeing it now as far as what's happening in New York, as far as, you know, the housing crisis, of course with Buffalo, right? Which I think my man who did that, he was inserted to do so, to, you know, get the melanated people riled up so that we can act, and then they can now put their own laws on us and do the whole martial law thing, say, oh, we're keeping them under control because they're acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? That was essentially the ploy with that. But, you know, it's the karma coming. And it's already being presented. Like, the loser of the war is not going to tell you you've won. So they've already lost. It's just that we're now catching up to the fact that they've lost, you know. And time will tell, you know. time will get to reveal. Time reveals everything, right? The truth will always come to light. Doesn't matter how long it takes, So, I say all that to say, focus on the principles and see through the illusions, like for real. Because one thing you have to realize about these platforms is that we didn't create Instagram, right? We didn't create a Twitter. We didn't create a Facebook. So it's always going to have natural bias towards the people that created it and the people that fund it. So bear in mind that when you're on these platforms, the agenda is never for your betterment. Not always, You have some people that can cut through the fog like yours truly, you know what I mean? But I be getting shadow banned. Like, motherfuckers don't be seeing my posts because I don't, that's just what it is. So, spend is like, I always gave myself the rule, like, if I'm not promoting a business, like, or like looking for my people that I rock with to interact with, I don't be on here like that, So yeah, man, miss me with the illusions, miss me with the so-called, they trying to set up for alien invasion and all that shit, and fuck all that, because we know that their time has come, and they're gonna try to blame it on something else. Like, listen, if it's one thing that humbles the fuck out of a human being, it is natural disaster. Let a twister hit where you at. Shit. You're going to be talking totally different. When we go through hurricanes and different things like that, man-made or not, it humbles you, It's funny how like a thunderstorm, right? Some heavy rain and shit can just instantly calm the inner conversation. Like, it's crazy how it can do that, So just bear those things in mind. And please don't let these people fool you, because they're going to fucking try, right? They just pumping fear at you in the hopes that you bite. And buy into metaverse and all that fucking dumb shit. That shit has no merit. Like, you need land to even build the metaverse. So it's like, you need natural resources to even build the computer that the metaverse is on. So it's like, you gonna focus on the source, or you gonna focus on an aspect of the source? Going back to what I said about the deities. You gonna focus on an aspect of source, or you gonna focus on the source? You gonna focus on the law? You know what I mean? You go for which, what you're calling the infinite intelligence is law, right? It's the laws that govern, right? The force that governs all, which is the laws, right? All law, right? Are you gonna focus on that, or are you gonna focus on Ra and the Palladians and the you know what I mean, and the Seven Masters and all of that shit? I don't know, man. I prefer to get to the nitty gritty and the source of the thing, And the reality is, the observer is the source, and you are currently observing. So I don't know, man. 1 + 2 = fish, dog. Like, so, but yeah. I got on a little tangent. Let me get back to cooking this. Did this turn down? I think it did. I gotta find a snare for this. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. I really just be creating and rambling. You know what I mean? Usually when I'm making beats, I'll listen to like audiobooks and just kind of keep your mind flowing. But I like that. I'll use that too much though. Hey, we just be vibing, man, for sure. Like, let me see if I can actually. There you go. Yes, sir. think we got one, coach. Oh, I have recorded. Oh, wait a minute. Skirt. Cause I did not mean to play that shenanigans. I had to find the sounds. I had to find these sounds. Wait a minute. Hold on. Run that back. I'm gonna tell y'all though, for real, like, I'm glad that as far as my artistry, that I focused on the writing part of it first. Cause that was pretty much my journey. Like, I grew up battle rapping. So, like, my first songs, besides my first song, the majority of my songs were diss songs. And I also started freestyling a lot. So, like, I didn't start to dive into the more technical parts of writing until I got to like college. In college I learned a lot about just why certain writing is, at least in English, again, why writing is the way it is. You know what I mean? Like why we enjoy the way certain like, I'll say rappers for lack of a better phrase, why we like the way they do certain things. Whether it's the cadence, the rhythm, right? There goes that law of rhythm again. whether it's the rhythm, whether it's the way they put words to, like, not even just put words together, but like I think it's called alliteration, just different things like that, you know. So I focused on that part of the craft first, and then at least more recently started to focus on the production. And it's dope to be able to like make a beat and then freestyle to it as I make the beat. So like I probably won't do that because sometimes my freestyles be trash, but you know, it's just it's what happens when, you know, you follow your passions, when you follow what you really love to do. Like, and it's almost like the rest of your reality conforms to what you need when you follow what it is you love and are supposed to be doing. Like, it's you know, because when you follow your purpose, like, you are given the resources to follow your purpose. We just sometimes get caught in the expectation of what that's supposed to look like instead of accepting what is there. Like, I'm not in the most A1 situation in my life, you know, but I'm thankful for where I am because it allows me to do what I'm doing now, which is make music, you know. Let me see. So, yeah. It's beauty and simplicity, but like I'm also like real meticulous. Dollars. Man, yo, free my man's Luke Dollars, yo. But nah, glad to see you, bro. Hope everything's well. Yeah, bro. I'm definitely hoping that we're still able to do that. Because your boy got some plans. But either way it go, you know, I hope you're having a good day, bro. Hope you vibing. I'm just like, you know, like you said, we cooking beats and having some convos. So, you know, if you got something, if y'all got a topic y'all want to discuss, what's going on in the world, you know, how you feeling right now, the theme for your life right now, you know, feel free to throw that in the chat, man. You know what I mean? This is open space. You know, of course, we still on a public platform, so be a little mindful, you know, but you know, if it's something on your heart, on your mind, man, listen, we here. Like, this is judgment free zone. Of course I have my own opinions. Of course I'm critical of certain things, but who ain't? Everyone got their little pet peeves, you know what I mean? But I don't let that stop me from receiving what someone has to tell me. So, you said retrograde, brother? This retrograde, I actually, so real quick, I'll go ahead and, I actually made a blog post about this particular retrograde. So I'll go ahead and read that. Let me see. Nope, that is definitely not the blog. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read the blog post I made about the spring retrograde. If you want to read that, perception over everything /blog. it'll have that blog for you. So this is Mercury retrograde for spring 2022. And I think I did a blog post like this similarly last year, but Mercury retrograde is often given a stigma in the online community as well as among astrologers. Many have never even heard of this phenomenon and have no idea of its impact or reflection of the human psyche. By the end of this post, we hope to clear that up as well as give you insight on what to do during this time. Mercury retrograde is essentially a time where the planetary rotation of the planet Mercury is moving backwards in orbit. Other planets do this as well, but Mercury does it more often than the other planets. Mercury retrograde is actually 3 times a year. It's not, other planets usually only go retrograde like once or twice a year. Mercury is the planet that represents the mind and communication and rules Gemini and Virgo, which means that usually during this time, communication tends to break down and thoughts tend to be more self-reflective. Only those who have not taken the time to talk to themselves and others or reflect on their life experiences end up experiencing woe during retrograde, simply because this work should always be done, retrograde or not. So if you know somebody that be going through shenanigans during retrograde, it's because they have not worked on themselves. Period. If they go through a whole lot, they have yet to work on themselves. And that's why during retrograde, shit hits the fan, right? And again, if we go back to that universal principle, all is mind, the universe is mental, right? All things start within the mind. So that's why certain experiences can be presented to you or happen because of where you are mentally and how you're communicating with oneself. This is why this work should always be done. Period. With this in mind, this retrograde of spring 2022, at least according to the Gregorian calendar, has Mercury being in one of its homes in Gemini. And at this time, Pluto is also retrograde in Capricorn, which signifies great changes in our accomplishments, or at least how we look at them. At the time of writing, we are in Taurus season with the moon in Virgo, and that's when I wrote this, when the moon was in Virgo. All of which means it's definitely a time for slow and steady movement. Retrograde is never really a great time for rash or bold decisions, but more of a time to cultivate and reflect. Mercury and Pluto are trined. That's a positive aspect. So whenever you hear terms like trined or square and all of that, when you talk to astrologers, it's basically talking about the degrees that they are from each other. And that's based on like, let me see. I ain't gonna break all that down, but so whenever you hear trined or squared or conjunct and all of that, they're basically, it's about how close they are in degrees. So Mercury and Pluto are trined, but with both in retrograde, along with the myriad of Earth energy we have present, it is a time to see how far we've come in our journey and reflect on what we need to do to cultivate the best possible outcome in our path. This is a great time for business plans to be made and blueprints to be drawn up. This is also a great time to cultivate matters at home, as well as plant seeds on the mental level. Although we are in retrograde, with Jupiter in Aries, this type of mental initiative could create significant amount of abundance for you in the long run. Be mindful of how you nurture yourself as well as others. So, to answer your question, Luke, or not question, but to kind of open the floor up, we're like, this retrograde is really just about seeing how far you've come, right? Seeing where seeing what you've become and what you can do to grow on this path, right? What you can do to maintain this path. Cardology currently reflects this as well, with a lot of earth and air energy being present through the diamonds and club suit respectively. And even out of retrograde, we shift back into the diamond suit. Your life spread could reflect this time being more nurturing for you, or perhaps more mental pursuits leading up to physical manifestations. So right now, if you cultivate yourself mentally, you can see things manifest for you. And I say this, I put this caveat in here. I said, even though we say mind, we have an overstanding that the mind is not the brain. So, what we would consider mind is not your brain. Your brain governs the body. Like, it is a reflection of, all that exists around you. Your mind is all around you. Why? Because you somehow manifested coming on this live and hearing the information I'm telling you, one way or another, right? I don't know if the whole video gonna resonate, but somewhere over the rainbow, you call for this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't be seeing this, nor would I be talking to you, right? Mercury retrograde will last until June 4th, at least in the Gregorian calendar, with the planet ending retrograde in Taurus, and Pluto will in fact be retrograde until the beginning of October. Our next full moon will be a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. That's the eclipse we just had, the blood moon, which will be a freeing time for many souls. Libra season should be very interesting, as many planets will be in retrograde, and we hope to keep you updated with that as well. So I think it's around the beginning of September. Half the planets will be in retrograde. So if you're watching this, I highly encourage you to look up what each planet represents, and I'll tell you here right quick. So Mercury is all about the mind and communication. Venus is all about your relationships. Mars is about your initiative. Jupiter is I say how you manifest, right? Saturn is about how you learn, so it's the planet of restriction. Uranus is essentially your dreams. Neptune is your nightmares, and Pluto is again another transformation planet. So, when they go in retrograde, you're going to essentially experience the more, I'm not even going to say negative, but self-reflective aspects of those planets, right? So just be mindful of that. And like I said, I'm probably going to make a post about that. But yeah, as far as retrograde is concerned, man, it's really just seeing how far you've come, laying the plans for future endeavors, and also retrograde period is just a time for you to just simply self-reflect, right? It's a time for you to kind of sort through your thoughts and see where you are and what you need to do to get yourself in a proper position. Not the best time for rash decisions, but if it's something that you feel like you're going to stick with, do you. But just be, it's a time to be mindful of the decision that you're making. Be methodical, right? One retrograde, I bought a car, and then before retrograde was over, I had a new car. You know what I mean? So it's just, like I said, it's a time to be mindful. So that's really, for me, I hear retrograde, I'm like, all right, reflection time to go within. Let's see what we need to do. 1 second, I'll be right back. So yeah, reflect on thyself. Do what you need to do. Let me see. Appreciate y'all vibing with the boy, man. Hey, there you go. That's all it means. And if you make a decision that is ultimately gonna help you on your journey, do you? You know what I mean? Just make sure that it's one that you're gonna stick with. And that's all I really say on that. Just make sure, whatever decision you make, that you sticking to it. off in just a second. Let me add this one little smidge of the sauce and I'm out of here. But yeah, man, you know, I'm gonna keep on doing this, you know. Come on, cook up a little bit, you know, have some existential conversations, you dig. But I hope that this definitely gave you a little bit more insight, cut through the fog of the shenanigans, and put you back on the path to where you need to be. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and slide up over here. I guess I gotta hit up my man's little dollars. And until next time, peace and love, and POE the gang.